I'm Dr. Viet Huong. I received my doctoral degrees in Chinese medicine in 2010. It was in the summer of 2010 that I opened my practice. And ever since I have my own practice, we also have a place for my music student to study music. Before that, we all practice at home, and our homes are very small. So when I have this facility, students could come here anytime to study music or meet their friend or ask me questions because I'm here most of the time. And on Saturday and Sunday, usually we be here for sometime almost a day, sometime just half a day. And students use these rooms to practice music. I came to America in 1991, and I founded Huong Performing Art Group in 2001. So this year marked our 20th anniversary. Usually we have a concert every year to document our journey throughout the year. But since this pandemic, we haven't had a chance to do it. So we have to postpone our 20th anniversary to a near future. Huong Performing Art Group is a non-profit organization. All our teachers, including myself, none of us receive any compensation, no salary. We are all volunteers, and we volunteer with our heart and passion to promote and preserve Vietnamese traditional music in America, especially in Washington State. And for the past 20 years, we travel all over the world. We went to France, Australia, a lot in Canada, even in Vietnam, and of course throughout the United States. I still remember one of my teacher quotes is that my job is like a silkworm. It will spin thread until it dies. So my teacher, they spend all their life to teach Vietnamese traditional music until they die. And of course they want me to carry on that tradition. And I'm hoping the same thing. I continue to teach music since 2001. So through that many years, I have a lot of students. Some of them study with me since they were 10 years old. And then when they get to college, they left me to college. And then we have new students coming. So my job will continue like the silkworm. We continue to teach music until we cannot do that anymore. My hope is that our students will carry on the tradition. They will continue to teach Vietnamese traditional music or understand that they have a culture. Even though they live in America, they're still Vietnamese and they have a culture. And it's not just us who are Vietnamese can join the group. We have many students. We have even Japanese students, Chinese students, all different ethnic groups. Whoever have the love and passion or to know about Vietnamese music, we all encourage them to join us. Two selected pieces from the 6th Imperial Court music of the Huong Dynasty. The instrument that we specialize and use most in our music classes is the danjang. This instrument has a history dated back to between the 10 and 13th century, 11 and 13th century, between Li Zheng dynasty. There are many fable and tales as where they come from, but we all have to agree that this instrument is a modified version of the Chinese instrument called guzheng. There are many stories, but we all think that all the Asian zither in Asia originate from China. China has a history so much longer than our country. And there was a story that during the 2nd and 6th century, when the Buddhist monks traveled from China to different parts of Asia, they also brought the Chinese instrument, the qin, the string instrument with them. And whichever country that they arrive, that nation will adopt the instrument, modernize it, and change a little bit to fit with their own nationality. For example, when the Chinese instrument arrived in Japan, they modernized it into a 13-string koto. The soundboard is bigger and the string is thicker, so that they can play with a lot of force. When they arrived in Korea, the Korean modernized again into the Korean kidagam. And the techniques also very similar to Vietnamese. Their strings are made from silk, so pressing and releasing the notes are harder. When the instrument arrived in Vietnam, our ancestors modernized it into this smaller instrument version with a 16 string. I play a 21 string, so it's a bit bigger. But originally it was only 16 string. The strings are made from metals, so the sound is more bright and clear. And it's easy for us to press and release and do many techniques with the left. As you already learned from Chinese instrument, I studied guzheng for 10 years, so I'm familiar with all the techniques. In Chinese instrument, we use right hand and left hand to accompany and play together. In Vietnamese, we do that too, but we try to use less in our class, because in our class we want to keep the tradition, which is using the left hand to do different techniques like vibration and note, animating every single note. We have to use the left hand to do something with it, whether to press and release like this, or peck, or borrow note. Okay. And so Vietnamese sounds will be different than other instruments because we focus more on the innermost feeling. 2 years ago, we got invited to perform at the White House during a Lunar New Year festival, and we brought almost 13 musicians with us, and Mi Phương was one of them.
I mean, yes, I was excited because it was my first time to ever step in Washington DC, and much less the White House as well. I think at the moment I it kind of felt like a regular concert to me, but at the same time I could notice that there were a bunch of people, a bunch of important people that I would have never otherwise saw had I not visited Washington DC. So when I walked in there, I don't think it really settled into me until I was actually sitting and playing the danjang. Yeah.
When we took our concert trip to Vietnam, we went to many concerts. We also went to different professors and around their houses. We gave them gifts. We learned about their origins and how they taught and how they learned, so that we can respect the masters that started and carried danjang for us to bring to America. And we also went to a wax museum where we visited the first Vietnamese wax museum, and we were able to do interviews there and introduce some of the masters of Vietnamese traditional music. And we also were able to be displayed on the TV there to introduce them. I'm planning on going out of state for college. I'm definitely planning on joining a cultural group and hopefully staying with my danjang to play and share with my classmates. I hope to stay with this instrument forever until I grow up, and then I hope to maybe carry this on to my children or my community.
Con tên Kỳ Anh, cái đàn tranh, cái đàn này kêu là đàn tranh.
Con học được mấy năm rồi?
1 năm rưỡi.
Con học được 2 năm.
Rồi.
You study for 2 years already.
Ủa, con tưởng là thầy nói 1 năm rưỡi mà.
Con học được 2 năm nhưng mà 1 năm rưỡi là nửa năm thầy không có dạy con nữa tại vì con ở nhà nhớ không? So half of the year you stay home. That still count too. This year is the first time I choose 5 students to teach a different kind of Vietnamese traditional instrument called tỳ bà. This art is almost forgotten, and I want to revitalize it.
The piece we just played is a song we played on the Thi Ba. It is called Wa Cao Ya Bai, and it is a traditional Vietnamese folk song from the North Viet region of Vietnam.
I like playing with this group because it makes me feel as if, it makes me feel like a connection towards my culture. So every single time I play this instrument, then that means I just feel very like warm inside.
I think because this is like a Vietnamese culture instrument, and so I get into more Vietnamese stuff.
My name's Sandra, I'm 8 years old.
And how long have you been playing this instrument?
Almost like 2 years.
What do you like about playing this?
The song.
What does the sound remind you of?
My Vietnamese family.
So Huong Viet Performing Art Group was founded 20 years ago, and one of the mission is that we are not involved in any politics. Of course, our students, some have their own political agenda. We have students who believe in socialism, some people believe in Republican, Democrat, all kind of political involvement. But when we come to music, we are the same. We just come here with the love for Vietnamese music, with no political agenda. And so far, we appreciate that, and we want to keep that the same.